a special session meeting into order, 4:30. And calling this meeting to talk about board policies that we would like to put into place. So I talked with Anne and I talked with Tony Wagner, and these are policies that we haven't been putting into place, and it goes along with ordinance to the state.
Yes. Yeah. So I went through, we actually did have an order purchasing policy from 2007. So I did do some updates, which is what's in front of you now. As you can see, anything highlighted in the yellow, that was some things that I added that was in the document that we received from the state, the AIM. So we did have to define what is a purchasing agency, which is Bremen Library, and then the purchasing agent, which would be library staff director or library director, and then the library director can delegate other staff members to spend money. We already had the purchases less than $50,000. I did up one place where it's purchase items up to $5,000, just because the last time this policy was approved by the board, that was 18 years ago, and prices have rose. And then as you can see by the rest of this policy, everything in gray is pretty much from the state. And I also included a special section because we did not have that in the previous policy about purchase of library materials, which would be that segment of books, magazines.
Oh, good. Yes.
Because that is exempt, that is excluded from our, yes.
The only question I have, and it's, I hope that you were here till well past the time I'm off the board again, I don't need anyway, but when it designates a library director as a purchasing agent, if we would find ourselves in a position where we had an interim director again, would that cover that person?
Yes, because in my absence, there is a parenthesis, in the absence of the director, the library board president.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see it now.
Yes.
I appreciate the clarification.
Yes.
And is that per the statute of or is that kind of compliant?
That was, yeah.
Okay.
And that was already in the previous document, so.
Okay, good.
Are you looking for a motion?
Yes, I would like a motion.
I move that we approve the updated policy on, for the Bremen Public Library purchasing.
Okay, and I'll second it. Okay, is there any additional discussion that you would like to talk about? Okay, so moved.
You need us to vote.
Oh, great. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, the second issue is the building emergency issue. In order to comply with this new policy, we're looking at fixing the basement. The bid that has come in is over $50,000. Now, we have been talking with Herman Getz for well over a year, probably, would you say even two, that you remember?
So.
Again, I reached out, they do not respond, they do not call back. Secretary is very nice. So we feel like an emergency situation with all the bathrooms closed for that long. It needs to be taken care of. So Brad Yoder has recused himself because he is available to do the work. And he has given a bid at $70,000, but it may go up depending on what they find once they get in. We have the Herman Getz not calling back. So that's his second bid. Tony Wagner, I met with Tony Wagner to say, for that thing, we really should have 3 bids. So I have a third bid, but this bid is not by, this bid is not by a commercial. This is, my husband had worked in restoration for over 30 years. He retired. His people that left started their own company. He does the adjusting bid for it. So he is on the paper, I think it's documented, he is the adjuster. Yeah, the estimator, I call it adjuster, I think they're one and the same. We can also use this bid if I recluse myself, and that would give us 3 bids that we can make a choice. But now, if I recluse myself, you're down to 3.
Can't we say this falls under the emergency clause here? Special, I mean, there is special purchasing methods. May award a contract under special purchasing without soliciting bids proposed for the following circumstances, emergency conditions, where there exists under emergency conditions a threat to public health, welfare, and safety. We don't have bathrooms. That, to me, seems like it affects public health, welfare, and I don't know about safety, but I don't know whether Tony suggested that or whether it would fall under that category.
Tony said he thought without all the bathrooms, it would fall under that.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I don't want people to think that we're giving a board member favoritism.
Mhm.
And that's why I think I brought it up at a board meeting. Should we be soliciting bids? And we thought that, at that time, I thought it was under 50,000, but maybe getting in there.
I think it was earlier in the process and they maybe had that camera under.
Right.
That last camera that they did.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
So if that's the case, then I say we stay whole with Yoder Construction.
I mean, does that make sense to everybody? To me, it seems like, I mean, you guys have been without this for an unbearable
Has it been
amount
3
of
years?
time.
It's been like 3 years.
Well,
And they've
it's-
tried various solutions that have not worked, that have been under that 50,000. So we were in this situation, but now we're to the point where do we let this linger on for, I mean, it's the height of the heat of the summer.
It's a summer program time where we have
Exactly,
more
yeah, the
people
summer
in it.
program, thank you. Yes, I did say that, I was thinking about it. What was the total of this bid? I can't.
It's 65.
With the opportunity that it could go up, not knowing.
Well, yeah, so that's pretty close to the ballpark of what
It is.
Brad is.
It is.
So it's not like Brad's,
Correct. That's the kind that I wanted you to see.
plus, this guy didn't do this, I mean, did he have access to that?
He only did pictures.
He looked at pictures.
Yes,
Okay.
I only did pictures. No
Yeah,
scope.
I don't know, I mean. Even, we can say we got a bid, it was in the ballpark.
I agree.
I mean,
We truly have tried to follow the process and do everything legally. It isn't like.
We've done it in good
I don't-
faith.
Right, in good faith, good.
Right.
I don't feel like we're trying to do anything underhanded. It's just, I think we're trying to recognize if we don't go forward with our Yoder at this point, that we are likely putting the solution off for another few months. And that is a problem for our community. If you think about the complaints that you hear about the library, and I have heard very few, but the few that I have heard have been about the bathroom situation. And I do think that's a health hazard. I do think that's a problem for people.
and I think with Brad, at least we have some leeway where he's accountable. I mean, we've had people do this before and it hasn't been fixed.
Yes,
I
exactly.
mean, I don't know, I mean, that may be favoritism, but I do think that.
Well, I go back
he's got-
to Sandy Crossing, there has been problems with the bathroom. I mean, it's been about 10 years ago, there was
Yeah,
problems. And so there's been fixes, well, before I was on the board, attempted. And we still, I think we need to fix it, right? We need to no longer have this issue going on for our community. So I would say, I agree with you, Joyce. I believe this is an emergency conditions. Because it is, I vote that we expect our owners to do the work.
Make a motion.
I'm making that motion.
I second.
All those in favor?
And it's due to the emergency
Situation.
clause.
Yeah, the emergency conditions clause under special purchasing methods.
And you second?
Kelsey, second.
Kelsey second.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think it's hard to focus on.
I know.
I know.
So did we vote?
No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any those against? So we will let Brett know that we can continue.
And I would let Tony know too, that this is what we voted on, just to make sure that
Okay.
he's 100% behind us, because if we get into trouble, he's gotta be.
Tony also asks, is this something we want to pursue as legal actions?
Against Herman Guest.
Yes, because he felt like this has been almost after everything started, and he thought there's liability with that.
When I had, there's a lot of issues here. When I had James Emmon come in and told him about the leakage in the computer room, he kind of thought that the town had some liability in that because of the broken pipe out of the street.
Okay.
But Chris seemed to think that they may have said they didn't, but they may have. I don't know with the sinkhole situation, that certainly looks like a big mistake. So I don't know if that was Herman Getz or
Brown?
what was the,
We voted that running around umbrella, yeah.
so I mean, that,
And who?
oh, it was a contractor, they contracted it out. I mean, that was shoddy work.
Do you feel like maybe the next board meeting, we could ask Tony to come or do we sit down and just say, hey, we want to look into it? He said he does not handle those cases. There are two people.
There, you look at the expense.
As we said, one's expensive and one's outrageous.
Yeah.
He said, I would work with the expensive one, but I don't know if that, then if they get claims, it pays them that we don't have. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because sometimes they don't receive funds unless they.
I think if we could get Tony to come to our next board meeting, we could have a discussion. I would say it with Jana and Jen Heater both present. I mean, I think we recognize there's only 4 of us here tonight, and we are enough to have the quorum needed to vote on things, but it's not like the full board is here. And I think maybe if he would be able to come to our next board meeting and we could have a conversation, and I think that would be wise. This has come up before, we keep dancing around the issue in my mind, where we could make a decision either to pursue some legal action or it's gonna be more cost and trouble than it's worth, we need to move on. And let the board make a decision so we can do that.
Whether us fixing it negates.
That's true, that's true, yeah.
Well, they will need to take pictures. I would ask them to, whoever's doing it, to take pictures to say, okay, look at this. This should not have been like that. They could document that.
That may be
Too late.
too late for the sinkhole thing, but.
We'd have to probably ask our you.
But at least for the inside. Yes.
That would be my opinion, is ask him to come, have a good discussion when the majority of the board is here, and we can move forward together, and whatever we decide, we'll live with. I mean, I honestly wonder if we would end up with it costing us much or more than what we actually.
I know.
But I would value somebody's opinion that's more knowledgeable than I.
I guess, to me, if it costs the same, I want to hold somebody responsible. They shouldn't be able to do that. And this is a public building and they're taking advantage of it.
Well, taxpayers,
And
yes.
as mentioned before, Brown and Brown has done a lot of work in this community. They did the pool area, they did the pickleball courts, and they didn't go to bat, according to Chris, they didn't go to bat for any of this stuff that caused problems after the fact.
I agree. So we'll talk about putting them on the agenda for
Yes.
December.
If the, would you like a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
Do say your husband.
Oh my gosh, my bill is